Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my recipe for Indian style dosas. Now, when you follow my recipe today, you can either get those thin, crispy dosas that some people love, or you can also get the softer version that you can scoop up different types of condiments and curries and other things with. Just go ahead and follow all of my steps and you can get your desired result. Now today this video is being sponsored by Victoria Cast Iron Cookware. I've done many collaborations with them in the past and they have the best quality cast iron equipment that I have ever used. Now you've seen videos where I've used their tawa to make roti, I've used their wok to make amazing fried rice, I've used their Dutch oven to make a mean lamb curry, and in today's video I'm going to be using their tawa yet again so this way I can make these Indian style dosas. Now they mentioned to me that they've been getting a lot of requests on their websites and feedback from people that buy the tawa that they want to know what is the best way to use the tawa to make your dosas. Now this includes the proper way to grease it, the proper way to heat it, the proper way to wait until the dosas are ready to flip. Because I guess a lot of people were having some trouble making their dosas on these tawas. So they reached out to me to help you all debunk all of those little problems that you're having at home. Now if you're interested in purchasing anything from Victoria Cast Iron Cookware, I will leave their website and other contact information in the description box right below this video. And I'm also going to be leaving all of the Amazon links because most of their products are available on Amazon, especially the tawa that I will be using in today's video. And if you all have Amazon Prime, you can get these items shipped in 2 days only with your Amazon Prime account. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to soak my rice and other ingredients before we make the dosas. So in my bowl here, I've added in some white rice of my choice. I'm using jasmine rice today, but you can use any type of white rice. I've also gone in with some urad dhal or urdi dhal. And I'm also going to be going in with some methi or fenugreek seeds. As usual, all of my ingredients and the proper measurements will be listed in the description box right below this video. Once you add all of these ingredients into your bowl, you're going to cover all of them with some warm water, and then you want to cover this bowl and set it aside on your countertop and let this mixture soak for about 8 hours to overnight. And what we basically want to do is allow it to absorb some water, so this way the rice is nice and plump. So this is the next morning. This is what the urad dal as well as the rice and the methi seeds look like after they've been soaking. When you've touched them, you're going to feel like they've plumped up a bit. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to grind this in my blender until it's a very smooth paste, and I might add in a little bit of water if it needs it. So I went ahead and I ground the rice, the urad dal, and the methi seeds together in my blender, and as you all can see, it is a very thick paste, but it is nice and smooth. And as I mentioned, while you're pureeing it, if you need to add in any water to loosen it up, feel free to do so. I added in only about a quarter cup of water because my blender is pretty high powered. All I'm going to do once you get this paste is you're going to cover it again and you're going to leave it on your countertop overnight so this way it can ferment and you can get small bubbles forming all throughout. So this is what my dosa mixture looks like after resting overnight and fermenting overnight. You're going to see that there's all these little tiny air bubbles, and all I've done right now while I mix it is I've added in a little bit of salt to taste. The salt is optional, but I like to go in with a little bit just for flavor. Now, although this mixture is nice and fermented, we need to add in more water, being that it is super thick. If you were to cook the dosas while the mixture is this thick, they will not come out properly. The biggest tip that I have for all of you is that the thinner you make that dosa batter, the crispier and thinner your dosas will be. Now, the thicker you make that batter, that is how you get more of a soft and thick dosa. So what I'm doing here is streaming in a little bit of water at a time until I get a very thin, crepe-like consistency. You don't want something super thick like a pancake batter. You want it to be even thinner and runnier than that. But once you get it to your desired consistency, you are ready to start cooking. Now the tawa that I'm using in today's video is the 12-inch one, and this is the tawa that I've gotten from them a while ago. Now what you want to do when you get their tawa is you want to season it. So if you want to see how to season the tawa and prepare it for use, then I'm going to be linking my roti recipe that I had used it new in last year. Now in that video, you'll get the step-by-step instruction on how to season the tawa and how to go ahead and get it ready for proper use. So I'll have it linked up here and it will be in the description box right below this video. Alright, so now that the dosa batter is completed, I wanted to show you guys the proper way how to cook these. All I've done so far is that as this tawa is heating up on a medium to medium-high heat, I went ahead and I brushed it with some oil, and I like to use a paper towel because it does not put on excess oil. It just gives a very thin layer. I noticed that if you do not use the oil on this tawa, it does end up sticking. And once you see that that tawa is nice and hot, you are going to sprinkle on some water. Now the water also helps with the sticking process. You do not want it to stick, So that's why we go ahead and we sprinkle a little bit of water. We let it sizzle off and we wipe off the excess. The thing here when making these dosas is if there is too much oil left on the tawa, they will not cook properly and they won't form properly. So you want to make sure that there's such a thin layer, and by putting on that water and then wiping it off, you take away a little bit of that oil as well. And as you all can see, it is smoking and it is ready for my dosa batter. All I'm going to do is take a ladle full of my dosa. You can use as much or as little as you want, and I'm going to quickly spread it out as fast as I can and make sure to get it into a nice, even, thin layer. Like I said, if you wanted to make these thin, you can make them thinner. If you wanted to make them even thicker, you can also do that as well. Now, once you get your dosa onto your pan and you see that it starts to smoke up and it starts to bubble up very well, you're going to go ahead and brush it liberally with some cooking oil. Now, you can use any type of oil of your choice. You can even use ghee and you can even use butter. It just depends on what you like. If you use oil, you will get a crispier product in the end. And once you go ahead and brush it with the oil, after about a minute or two, you're going to see that those edges start to lift up slightly. Now, the thing with making dosas is that traditionally you would not flip it and let it cook on the other side. It's so thin that by the time you let it cook on the one side, the other side is already cooked. So all you need to do once the edges start to lift up and it is to your desired color, you can go ahead and just fold it over and it's ready to serve. Now, of course, if you wanted to flip it over like I just did here, you're more than welcome to do that. But again, traditionally that is not needed. And once one of your dosas is done cooking, you're just going to continue this process until you finish cooking all of those dosas. So as I did before, I went ahead and oiled the tawa very well with a paper towel. I got off that extra oil. I went ahead and I sprinkled it with some cold water when it was nice and hot. And after I wiped off that cold water, it is time to go ahead and add on your dosa batter. As you all can see, that the longer you do these and the more practice you get, the better the shape will come out and the better the texture will come out. So again, like before, I took a ladle full and I went ahead and I put it onto the tawa and I spread it out as fast as I could. And as soon as you add it on, you're going to see all these bubbles form. And once you see those bubbles form, you're going to sprinkle on some cooking oil, brush it on very well, and allow it to cook for a couple of minutes, about 1 to 2 minutes. And again, the way that you know that these dosas are done cooking is once you see those edges start to lift up from the sides of the pan just slightly, you know it's done cooking. Now, the reason why you would leave it longer on the stove, again, is only if you want it to be a little darker and a little crispier. The way that my dosas came out today is a little bit on the softer side. The reason being is because I left my batter a little bit thick and I didn't let them cook for super long. But this is the way that my family prefers them. If you want them thinner and even crispier, then you have to make the batter thinner and you have to cook them for a longer time. And another big tip that I have for all of you is to make sure you keep that heat on a medium to medium high heat at the max. If you leave it on a high heat, what happens is they will burn very quickly and it will actually cause them to stick on this tawa. And of course, if the pan is too low in temperature, it will not allow them to cook and get nice and crispy. So make sure you keep on regulating your heat. Another option that you all have is to go ahead and put a pot cover on top of the dosas, so this way they can steam. By allowing them to steam a little bit, you ensure that they cook properly and they will not taste doughy at all. And again, the whole cooking process only takes about 2 to 3 minutes from start to finish. Alright everyone, so that is how quick and easy it was to make these dosas. By following all of my little tips and tricks, you're gonna get perfection at home. Now, I hope throughout the video I debunked any problems that any of you may be having at home with these tawas, especially the way that you need to season it, the way you need to use it, and the way you prepare the dosas for cooking on these tawas. Again, as I mentioned, if you're interested in buying anything from Victoria Cast Iron Cookware, go ahead and check out all the links I have in my description box down below. I'm gonna have their direct website and I will have their Amazon links linked in the description box. And last but not least, I just want to thank the staff over at Victoria Cast Iron Cookware for sending me this product to use today and for sponsoring my video. They've been such a pleasure to work with and I love their products and I definitely recommend them to anyone who asks me where they can purchase a tawa or where they can purchase good cast iron cookware from. So if you all enjoyed this video today, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet and drop those comments down below and let me know what you guys would like to see next on my channel. I'll see you all again very soon with one of my newest recipes. Until next time everyone, bye!